back to the show now. In one of the most, there is a trade union election that took place today, and again, not everyone was in favor of the elections, and of course, the trouble that it caused to the commuters today. Now, here's one interesting report that again is brought to us by our senior correspondent, Peer Mohammed.
Tamil Nadu's 1.26 lakh transport workers employed by the government voted in elections conducted by the powerful trade unions. The DMK's LPF, the AIADMK's ATU and the CITU of the communists. But the voting almost reduced bus services in the city by half.
The allegations are partly correct, but not to the extent they are exposed. There are some routes we were not able to operate it because of the elections.
As commuters packed into busy terminals, long lines of buses remained parked without their crew, setting off crowd pressure and confusion at many places. The trade union election is seen as an indicator of the possible trend in the state election next year. The vote saw 90% turnout, with the AIADMK and the DMDK allied against the governing DMK. The results are due on Saturday. In Chennai with Peer Mohammed, J. Santosh for NDTV Hindu.
Right. For more on this story, we are joined now by the senior correspondent, Mr. Peer Mohammed himself, my colleague. Now, Peer, if you can hear me again, political muscle flexing really had its impact, not so much on political opponents, but definitely on the commuters today. Can you tell us more about the plight of the daily commuter?
Yes, it has been quite a tough day for school students, office goers in the city, because there were out of the 3,000 odd buses which are operated by the MTC in the city, more than 1,000 buses stayed off the roads, which is large numbers, particularly during peak hours. People had tough time reaching office in the morning, again in the evening from the offices to go back homes. A lot of school students had to walk all the way up to homes, and also a lot of office goers were seen waiting at the bus shelters across the city. It was a huge crowd, hundreds of people waiting under a small bus shelter. It was on the beach road, also along Mohapur Anna Nahar route, and all parts of the city. Several routes were affected because of these elections, because these elections are happening after a gap of 12 years.
Right, Peter, if I can also ask you again, these elections have again shot into prominence right now for a number of factors. Can you highlight in the interest of our viewers why these elections have assumed this level of importance here?
Yes, the ruling DMK's union, LPF, got a High Court order in favor of it, saying that the largest union only can represent the aspiration of the transport workers, who number about 1.26 lakh in the state. That against that, the AIADMK union, Anna Trade Union, has gone to the Supreme Court, saying that the old order, which allows the largest 4 unions to represent the aspirations of workers. This has led to a big fight between the unions, and the elections are happening after a gap of 12 years. And the DMDK, Vijaykanth's DMDK is supporting the ADMK so that the ruling DMK's union is routed in these elections. That is why there is so much tension, and almost the voting percentage is considered almost 90%, because both the sides want to defeat the other. That is the reason most of the workers were forcefully made to vote. That is what the allegations are traded between the two unions.
Right, Peter. Thank you for joining us with all those details. Again, the political muscle flexing, political tension taking its toll, and majorly the commuters who had to bear the brunt. Now, moving ahead, the Chennai Corporation controls 6 basketball stadiums in Chennai, but nearly all of them lack the facilities to host matches. Now, the biggest of them, the J. Lalita Indoor Basketball Stadium, is caught in a complex dispute. Sudarshan has the details. Broken basketball hoop, leaking roof, and electrical fittings that don't work. That's the condition of the J. Lalita Basketball Indoor Stadium, which had witnessed some high-profile matches during the SAF Games of 1995. The bad state of the stadium has been blamed on a dispute between the State Basketball Association and the Chennai Corporation.
It's in a situation where no benefit is being done for the sport or for the association as such in this. We requested the corporation to give us the ground back, which is not happening as of now.
But the Chennai Corporation does not seem to agree with that.
I'm not aware, I'm totally new to this post. I have to check up whether they incurred any capital expenditure or not. The fact of the matter is there is a case which is still going on. And we will wait for the case to be over and the direction of the Honorable High Court. Based on that, we will take a decision.
Under a 30-year agreement which ends in 2015, the Jayalalitha basketball facility was built by the State Basketball Association on land owned by the Chennai Corporation. But if the corporation is determined to take over the facility ahead of 2015, it will have to pay a huge compensation. The next hearing of the dispute comes up in the Madras High Court next week. In Chennai, with Sudarshan, this is Ashmit Kumar for NDTV Hindu. Now, tomorrow is 26/11, the anniversary of the dastardly attacks that we saw 2 years back. Now, ahead of the second anniversary of the terror attacks, little Moshe's parents recounted how Rabbi Gabriel and Rivka's only child, baby Moshe, remembers his parents and is growing up to be a cute and naughty boy.
Even though Moishi was only 2 years old when he left, and actually he was 2 years exactly, his birthday of 2 years was just a few days after he lost his parents. Even though he was only 2 years old, he fully remembers the place, and he still thinks of himself, he thinks of his home as in Mumbai. And whenever he's somewhere and people say to him, "Come, we're going home," he always says, "No, my home is in Mumbai." Or he says, "Do you mean we're going to Mumbai? Because that's where my home actually is." So he feels very connected. He speaks English with Sandra, and he even knows some Hindi, which he speaks with Sandra. That was the wish of his dad, who felt that since he was living here and Rabbi Gabi and Rebbetzin Rifki had planned to dedicate their lives here, they had no plans of leaving actually. So they thought their son Moishi should know Hindi so that he could make friends, communicate with everybody. So his dad had wanted him to know the language.
Now, Nandalala is amongst the big ticket releases this weekend, and we were joined by the crew, the producer, the cinematographer and the child artist. Watch out for that on the other side.